In early June, the Auburn Doubledays swept the Americans in a home-and-home. 1 month later, both these teams look very different, as many players have left down the stretch of the PGCBL season. Tonight, these new-look teams will face off, headlined by a pair of dominant starting pitchers. It's the Americans, it's the Doubledays, it's PGCBL baseball right here on the Americans Baseball Network.
That the ace of the Giant pitching staff that season was Niagara Falls native Sal Magley. A league low 2.71 earned run.
They chose Niagara Falls because of the stadium, because of the history, because they believe in Niagara Falls.
Tickets 716-215-6161.
And where do you play?
We play right at Sal Magley, gorgeous stadium.
Set the 1-0 to Boyle. Is hammered to right field.
Go, baby, go, baby, go.
Come here,
go,
fence!
Baby.
That ball is way out of here.
Welcome into Falcon Park for this game between the Americans and Doubledays, the final regular season game between these two teams. Doubledays took the first two looking to sweep the season series. The Americans looking for revenge after a rough couple of losses. Their first two losses of the season came against this Auburn team. I'm Andrew Roberts. I'll be your play-by-play broadcaster for the entire season, and we've got some great baseball underway in just a moment. Personally, I'm expecting a pitcher's duel. Two great pitchers on the mound, Nolan Jackson for the Americans and Owen Burchard for the Doubledays. Both of them have had a number of quality starts over the course of the season. Jackson a 1.15 ERA, Burchard at 3.33 with 34 strikeouts. So impressive starts to the year for both these pitchers, and tonight they face off. But before we get started, we'll give you a look at the PGCBL standings. Muck Dogs are in first place at 19-9-1, but the Americans are just a half game behind with a win tonight and a Muck Dogs loss, a chance to take over first place. Tarpskunks in third at 18-11. Doubledays in that final playoff spot at 16-10-4. Pioneers right on their tail at 16-13-1. Pilots still in the race as well, and the Red Wings and Ironbacks beginning to fall out of things. The Ironbacks' best possible record at this point in the season would be 21-25. That's if they win every single game the rest of the season. But the Americans and Doubledays are in the playoff picture and remain in this tight playoff race. No real team has pulled away in these PGCBL standings just yet. The top six separated by just 5 games, as you saw on that graphic. So going to be competitive all the way down the rest of the stretch. And as we wait for first pitch in a very important game to that playoff picture, we'll give you a look at the American starting lineup. Grant Moore leading things off per usual in center field, the .426 hitter, leading the league in batting average. Alan Ramos bats second, batting .250, one of the hottest hitters on the team. Gavin Boyle batting third in left field. Raiden Miller, the cleanup hitter, had a home run in Niagara, Canada last night. Chris Gazaldo, the 5-hitter, back in the lineup after a late scratch last night. Shane Prey moving to DH. Nick Pass doing the catching. Logan Stickler, the extra hitter again. Connor Kiefer at second base after a 3-hit game. And Tommy Mathay will round things out in right field, the pinch hitter last night. And they will be facing Doubledays starting pitcher Owen Burchard. Product of Bryant University, was a reliever at Bryant, but a starter here in Auburn. 1-1 record, 3.33 ERA, and 34 strikeouts. Stands at 5'11" and 195 pounds. Umpires and our managers for the game conferencing near home plate. Will Cordero and Matthew Petrossi, the respective coaches of the Americans and Doubledays. Cordero, a 14-year MLB veteran, has picked up coaching since his retirement back in the mid-2000s. Started his career with the Montreal Expos and actually played in Jamestown in the minor leagues back when minor league games were played at Dietrich Park. This is another stadium, Falcon Park, where minor league games were played. The Doubledays, a long history as an affiliate of the Washington Nationals, but now a summer ball team in this PGCBL over the last few years. They've had some great success and looking to make the playoffs again. We'll give you a look at their starting lineup. Tyler Vivacqua leading off and playing second base. Bobby Hardy in left field bats second. Mark Gialusi, the new catcher, just transferred to Villanova. He's batting .414 over the first few games as a Doubleday. Anthony DeCesare, the DH, bats cleanup. Nick Izzo at first, batting fifth. Adam Sullivan, the shortstop, bats sixth. Yanni DeSerbo batting seventh in right field. Sam Meyer in center bats eighth. Charlie Wortham, the extra hitter, making his Doubleday debut. He's committed to Mississippi State. And Alex Vasquez at third to round things out. Doubledays just have one lefty and one switch hitter in this entire lineup. A very righty-heavy order to face the righty Nolan Jackson. A 1.15 ERA, 9 strikeouts, 2-0 record, 2 consecutive starts of 6 scoreless innings, one of those coming against the Ironbacks, but the other, more recently, against the Muck Dogs. And a little fun fact about Nolan Jackson, all 3 of his starts this season, including today, have come on a Thursday. He has started each of the last 3 Thursdays, counting today. So might as well start calling Thursday Jackson Day here for the Americans. And he's committed to Seattle University, so will also be joining Burchard in D1 after this summer. Americans being brought out to the field now. And it was pouring rain before the game. It interrupted the Doubledays batting practice earlier. The Americans had to move to the cages, but in games where they have not taken batting practice, have not had more than 6 hits in the game, so we'll have to see how they hit tonight. But nonetheless, after the rain, the sun has come out. Photosynthesis has continued in the greenery all around the stadium. And it's a beautiful night for baseball here at Falcon Park. We'll be underway in just a moment, but we'll pause as lineups and the national anthem are happening here at the stadium.
Leading off, second baseman from Niagara University, number 21, Tyler Vivacqua. And second, the left fielder from Jefferson University, number 34, Bobby Hardy. And third, catcher from Villanova University, number 5, Mark Gialusi. And fourth, the designated hitter from the University of Delaware, number 19, Anthony DeCesare. And fifth, first baseman from St. Peter's University, number 12, Nick Izzo. And sixth, the shortstop from Lemoyne College, number 36, Adam Sullivan. And seventh, the right fielder from Hamilton College, number 16, Gianni DeSerbo. And eighth, the center fielder from Mount St. Mary's University, number 1, Sam Meyer. Batting ninth, the extra hitter from Mississippi State University, number 31, Charlie Wortham. And batting 10th, the third baseman from Tennessee University, number 32, Alex Vasquez. Starting pitcher for the Doubledays tonight from Bryant University is number 6, Owen Burchard. The Doubledays are coached by Matthew Petrosi, assisted by Ryan Fletcher. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask all who are able to please stand and remove your caps for our national anthem. The anthem will be performed this evening by Ms. Kira Dominic.
Welcome back for Americans Baseball here on the Americans Baseball Network. And after a ceremonial first pitch, we will be in for the action as Grant Moore will lead things off for the Americans. Alan Ramos and Gavin Boyle to follow him up against Owen Burchard, the Doubledays pitcher. Burchard has officially taken the mound. We'll give you another look at his numbers. 1-1, a 3.33 ERA, and 34 strikeouts. Those 34 strikeouts leading active Doubledays. It was close between him and Brennan Heilman. Heilman has since left the team. Burchard and Heilman, the only two All-Stars at the midseason mark for the Auburn Doubledays. Americans had 6 of them. Give you another look at those All-Stars as we did yesterday. Grant Moore, Graydon Miller, and Chris Gazzaldo all in tonight's lineup. And Nolan Jackson, the starting pitcher, may not be one of these All-Stars, but in the recent stretch has shown why maybe he should have been there with a 1.15 ERA and 2 consecutive 6-inning scoreless starts. So an excellent start to the year for Nolan Jackson, despite not making the All-Star team. Burchard, the Doubledays pitcher, is indeed an All-Star. See if it gives Auburn the edge against this Americans lineup. But this Americans lineup, they've had their hot moments, they've had their cold moments. Yesterday was just about the hottest they've been all season. Now, mind you, it was the 4-25 Ironbacks, but the Americans set a season high with 17 hits as a team. Had 6 different players with multiple hits, majority of which are in the lineup tonight. Moore, Boyle, Kiefer, Past, and Miller, all with multiple hits in last night's game, as well as Shane Prey, who's the designated hitter. So, in fact, all 6 of the players with multiple hits last night are in tonight's starting lineup, and the All-Stars, Moore and Miller, were included in that group. Gazzaldo did not play last night, but back in the order to join them tonight. Here's Grant Moore. And, I mean, he's an All-Star. He's a one-time PGCBL Player of the Week, but if I had to say so myself, I'd say he's working toward a potential MVP campaign with league leads in batting average, on-base percentage, stolen bases, and triples with 4. But it's ball 1 to Grant Moore for the time being. Here's the 1-0 from Burchard, driven into left field, drops for the base hit. Grant Moore with another hit. Looking to make it another multi-hit game tonight. His bat is red hot, as it has been the most of the season. He's up to a 29-game on-base streak, and he has 31 steals. And we like to say here on the Americans Baseball Network that if Grant Moore gets on base, pretty much an automatic double. He'll look to take second right here with Alan Ramos, another speedster, up to bat. A nice 1-2 punch for the Americans. Ramos takes strike 1. Alan Ramos has been in a few different places in the order over the last few days. Was pretty much exclusively used as a 10-hitter, second leadoff for the Americans, but then moved up to 6 yesterday, and now back next to Grant Moore on the other side. Swing and a miss, and it's 2 strikes on Ramos. Alan Ramos, another American with an on-base streak that has gone since his very first game with the team, 13 games, as he hasn't gotten as many opportunities to play as Grant Moore has. The 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Alan Ramos strikes out on 3 pitches, but Grant Moore takes second base as the third strike gets away from the catcher Gialusi. So Grant Moore in scoring position with 1 down for Gavin Boyle. Boyle, a .279 hitter, 782 OPS, 2 homers, and 11 RBIs on the season. Boyle's pair of homers lead the Americans team. A handful of Americans with a single homer, but only Boyle with multiple. High fences here in Auburn could lead to some more doubles than usual, but it's ball one to Gavin Boyle. And we talk about the home runs for Gavin, but he has plenty of doubles as well. A grand total of 6 extra base hits. 3 of them are doubles. Had 1 triple at Sal Magley. Takes one in there on the low inside corner for strike 1. It's ones across the board. That Boyle triple came on the 4th of July when he also had a home run against the Batavia Muck Dogs at home. Unfortunately, the Americans went on to lose that game and the series after leaving runners on base consistently, and that's a breaking ball for ball 2. Drops low on Gavin Boyle. Grant Moore on second base looking for Moore. And this is the heart of the Americans' order. Boyle up and Miller on deck. Not going to be an easy feat for Burchard to retire them. Inside and low for ball 3. Gavin Boyle with a hitter's count against Burchard, the Bryant product. Gavin Boyle headed to Southern Indiana in the fall after some time at SUNY Niagara. SUNY Niagara played the JUCO World Series at this field. Swing and a miss to fill up this count. So a lot of Americans familiar with Falcon Park. This will be Boyle's first time playing here since the JUCO World Series. He was absent the first couple weeks of the season, so did not make the trip to Auburn last time around for these Doubledays. The payoff pitch is a swing and a miss. Gavin Boyle strikes out. It's the second out of the inning and second consecutive strikeout for Owen Burchard. He is heating up after the leadoff knock given up to Grant. Graydon Miller up next. Miller, a .361 hitter, good for second on the team. 889 OPS, 1 homer, and 20 ribbies. That's also second to Grant Moore. Moore and Miller have been quite the 1-2 punch for this Americans order. Burchard checks on Moore, now delivers to Miller. It's fouled off down the third base line on the dribbling grounder for strike 1. Graydon Miller steps back in. To face Burchard. Division I pitcher against a second-year American and D2 Drury athlete. Bit of a check swing, but pulls back in time for the ball. One's on the count to Graydon. Miller's first home run of the season and only home run of the season so far came last night against the Ironbacks, and in 2 years as an American, 34 RBIs, but just that 1 home run. Count is even. Burchard checks on Moore. Now delivers. Miller takes another one low and away. Counts in his favor. So the Americans have had problems over the last few games of runners left on base. Less so last night, but hoping to avoid leaving Moore stranded on second in this first inning. Check swing there. They will call it strike 2. 2's across the board to Graydon. Umpire confirms the even count on Graydon Miller. Owen Burchard sets for the 2-2, checks on Moore, now delivers. Swing and a miss. Owen Burchard strikes out 3 consecutive batters after the leadoff knock. The Americans leave Grant Moore on second base. We'll send it to the bottom of the first and give you a refresher of the Doubledays lineup after the break.
Fans, if you've been to a game, you know that I give away pizza to a lucky fan in the middle of the third inning. But what you might not know is that Sammy's is located right across the street. They've also been family owned and operated for 3 generations since 1962 and originated the half tray of pizza. But if you're hungry at the game, you can stop by the concession stand and get a slice of Sammy's for yourself.
bottom of the first inning, and here is another look at the Doubledays lineup. Tyler Vivacqua going to lead things off, plays second base, a switch hitter, batting .329 with a 10.08 OPS. That's a lineup high for Auburn. Bobby Hardy bats second, and Mark Gialusi be the final hitter due up in this inning. Anthony DeCesare, the DH, bats cleanup. Nick Izzo batting fifth, playing first. Adam Sullivan at short, the only other player who will bat lefty against Nolan Jackson. Johnny DeSerbo in right field bats seventh. Sam Meyer, the center fielder, is eighth. Charlie Wortham making his debut and batting ninth. And Alex Vasquez, the third baseman, will round things out against Nolan Jackson. Here's another look at his numbers. 2-0 record, 1.15 ERA, and 9 strikeouts. Third consecutive start on a Thursday, and looking for his third consecutive 6-inning scoreless start. In what could be a pitcher's duel, Burchard already has a trio of strikeouts, retiring 3 consecutive after the Moore single. Outside, ball one to Vivacqua. Tyler Vivacqua, product of Niagara University, so familiar with a lot of these Americans who play for NU. Low for ball 2 on the count. Jackson, not among those Americans familiar with Vivacqua's game, but some other Americans pitchers from NU certainly able to give Jackson advice. 3-0 count on Tyler here, though. Jackson's struggling in this opposite-handed matchup thus far. We'll see if he can recover with the count at 3-0. Gets in there for strike one. And Jackson's still alive in this at-bat. Miller playing rather deep at first base. Line drive into right field, drops in front of Mathay for the base hit. Vivacqua, a leadoff single for Auburn, matches the Americans' leadoff single in the top of the inning. And now Bobby Hardy up next. In left field, batting .310 with a 7.54 OPS, and has Vivacqua on first base. Tyler Vivacqua, 12 stolen bases on the season. So one of the faster Doubledays on this team. Already has a lead at first base. Jackson, the pitch outside and wild. Now Vivacqua takes off for second. Pass ends up getting the throw off, but Vivacqua is safe at second. Tyler Vivacqua now tied with Sam Meyer for the team lead in steals. Tyler Vivacqua, an excellent hitter, an excellent base runner, showing it right there. Him and Sam Meyer, two of the best on this Auburn squad. And the Doubledays already have a runner in scoring position with a ball on this count. Inside for another. Jackson struggling with his command of the strike zone, but it was smooth sailing for him against Batavia and the Ironbacks, so looking to refine that success on this Thursday evening. The 2-0 to Hardy. It's in there on the inside edge for strike one. And Bobby Hardy, one of 3 Denison players who joined this team together ahead of the last Americans Doubledays matchup alongside Max Fishbein and Alex Vasquez. Pitch from Jackson will get away from past. Taking third and thinking about home is Vivacqua. He'll stay at third base. Vivacqua has already taken 2 bases, 1 on a steal and 1 on the wild pitch. Now looking for home. First runner on third for either team today. Graham Moore never made it past second. And to continue on about these Denison guys, only 2 of them in the lineup tonight. Fishbein on his way out has a hernia. It's ball 4 now to the batter Hardy. Runners on the corners for Mark Gialusi, and Jackson struggling early against these Doubledays. Doubledays already have double base runners the Americans have had today, but one on a hit, one on a walk. Americans just with the single knock off the bat of Grant Moore. The Doubledays love to double teams up. Did it to the Americans in the hit and run column last time they were here. Fly ball into left field, drops next to Boyle for the base hit and Moore. 1 run scores, and coming around is Bobby Hardy. A 2-run stand-up double for Mark Gialucci. Doubledays lead early. And Nolan Jackson, with his first runs allowed as a starting pitcher, gave up some as a reliever, but in this new role had been very solid up to this point, and rough start to his day. Still nobody out, and now Gialucci on second. This is a tough top 3 of the lineup to face, and Anthony DeCesare not much easier to face. DeCesare, 311 hitter, 840 OPS, and 18 RBIs, has a runner in the scoring position in the form of Gialucci. Played at Rutgers, and now transferring to Villanova, Gialucci, but DeCesare, rather, takes strike 1 on the outside edge. DeCesare lines it into left field. That'll drop as well. Runners on the corners, and Gialucci not going to make it past third. But runners on the corners again for the Doubledays. They have 3 knocks already off of Jackson. All 4 of the first 4 batters have reached against Nolan Jackson. Nick Izzo looking to make it 5. 214 hitter, 553 OPS, so not quite the same batting stats as those first 4, all 4 of the top 4 in the order, with batting averages over 300 at least. But Izzo with a big opportunity here for RBI number 7 potentially of the year. In there for strike 1. So at the very least, Jackson's command of the strike zone looking better these last couple of at-bats, but he's let up some hard contact into the outfield. Needs to get that in control if he wants to get this start back on track. That's behind the head of Nick Izzo. Cannot be throwing pitches behind the batter. Jackson looking to throw some strikes that don't end up into the outfield. Runners with a lead to Cesare and Gialucci on the corners. Gialucci's the lead runner at third. Izzo takes one on the outside edge for strike 2. A late strike call, but Nolan Jackson has the count in his favor. After 4 consecutive base runners reached, Nolan Jackson looking for his first out of the day. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Nick Izzo, the first strikeout victim of Nolan Jackson, who's looking to get this start back on track after 2 early runs allowed. Adam Sullivan's up next. 222 hitter, 681 OPS, and 10 RBIs. And Nolan Jackson gave up the hit to the last lefty he faced in Vivacqua. Vivacqua, technically a switch hitter, but batted lefty against Nolan. Now Sullivan, the only other lefty in the Doubledays order. But lefties and righties have been hitting off of Jackson today. Right there, Sullivan swings and misses for strike 1. Pitch from Jackson again, swung on and missed. There's that nasty stuff forcing these batters to chase. First Izzo, now Sullivan, and Nick Past is down behind home plate. We'll hope he's all right after he took that one right to him. Will Cordero coming to check on him. And Past has been a workhorse for this team. Has caught every single game over the last week. Now a Doubledays trainer coming out to check on him as well. We'll hope he's all right. Paul Delanto ready to go, but Nick Pass will hang in for now. Delanto was away from the team for a few days, now back on the bench tonight. Saw action in the last game here in Auburn, but Past is all right. He will put his mask back on. Love to see it. It's a guy who just had his first home run of the season last night. Very important to this American squad. Sullivan, the lefty, with the 0-2 count. Jackson delivers on the 0-2. It's a ground ball. Picked up. No, it's missed by Connor Kiefer. And everybody advances. Another run scores. 3-0 Doubledays. We'll wait for the official call on that. But either way, Adam Sullivan is on first base, and another run scores. This time it's Gialusi coming in. Just one batter retired in this inning. Nolan Jackson was looking for the strikeout, but instead had to rely on his defense, and Kiefer struggling with that one. It'll be ruled a reach on an error. First error of the day for the Americans by Connor Kiefer. Ball one to Johnny DeSerbo, and Kiefer is very much a hit-or-miss defender. Has had errors on numerous occasions, but at the same time makes some excellent catches, some great range from second base. So will look to redeem himself in this game. 2-0 on this count after the 0-2 count on the last at bat. Got erased by the error. DeSerbo, a product of Hamilton, local Division III institution. One of the best hitters here on the Doubledays. Batted .398 at Hamilton, and now .306 for Auburn. Upstairs, it's a 3-0 count. Nolan Jackson looking to avoid a 4-pitch walk here. That would load the bases. There would be nowhere to put the on-deck hitter, Sam Meyer. And Meyer is a big bat in this lineup. Comes from St. Joe's. Not someone you want to mess with. Ideally, a strikeout or double play here for Jackson. But instead, it's an outside ball 4. Bases are juiced, and this night has not gone as planned for Nolan. The Americans not with many pitchers that even travel with the team today. So the question is, what kind of backup plan the Americans have if Jackson cannot go much longer. Nolan Jackson, already 2 earned runs, 3 allowed total. Sam Meyer up next with the bases. Juice Jackson has to get back on track if he wants to allow the Americans to stay in this game. Sam Meyer, Division I hitter, batting .263 for the Doubledays with a .744 OPS. First pitch upstairs for ball 1. I want to give a shout out to Grant Moore's family in the stands. In the front row here in Auburn, made the trip to see Grant in action. Sam Meyer with the bases juiced and a ball on the count. Pitch from Jackson outside, but gets in there for the strike on the outside edge. That's one's across the board to Sam Meyer. Pitch from Jackson, a bit of a check swing. It's a strike anyways. Jackson now with the count in his favor. 1 down, bases juiced. This would be a big moment for Nolan Jackson to have his first strikeout of the day. Or rather, his second. Here's the pitch, and it's fouled off. Meyer stays alive, just barely. The foul tip goes to the left side. So he's hanging in there, looking to climb out of this 1-2 hole with the bases loaded. Doubledays can blow this game open in the very first inning if Meyer does something big right here. It's another foul tip right behind the plate this time. Bounces off the netting and brushes against the entry to the stands. Sam Meyer, one of two St. Joseph's players who came to the Doubledays. Kieran Kehoe no longer with the team, but Kieran was here with Meyer to begin the season. Meyer takes one upstairs near his helmet. Some chin music on ball 2. Count evens up with 1 down. Crowd is rowdy here in Auburn. Nolan Jackson looking for a strikeout to make it 2 down in the inning. Would take away a lot of the wiggle room the Doubledays have right now. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball stays high for ball 3. Jackson was looking for that one to drop into the strike zone, and it does not. Americans got to wonder what their backup plan is if Jackson continues to struggle. Robert Leach expected to come out of the pen, but can't go that many innings. Liner, foul, and bounces off the top of the Doubledays clubhouse. That was a rocket. With the count now full, Meyer still alive. He was down 1-2. Nolan Jackson still looking for that 3rd strike. Payoff pitch is popped up. Another foul. This has been a very long at-bat between Jackson and Meyer. The stakes are high as the Doubledays are looking to take the driver's seat full-fledged in this first inning. 10th pitch of the at-bat coming up from Jackson. Fouled off on a bunt. They will not rule it strike 3. Looked like more of a swinging bunt. Sam Meyer ready for another payoff pitch from Jackson. Can he continue to extend this at bat? Here it is. Fouled off again. This has got to be tiring out Nolan. Jackson had thrown 24 pitches before this at bat. This is getting close to C.J. Hurley's 39 pitch first inning against Batavia on Saturday. Doubledays 3-0 lead, and ball 4 will bring in another. Auburn leads 4-0. Jackson walking in a run. Just cannot happen with the full count. Auburn really starting to pull away, and Charlie Wortham will be up next to face Jackson. Still just one batter retired. It was Nick Izzo on the strikeout. Sullivan nearly retired, but reaching on the error. Adam is now on 3rd base. Takes a strike on the low edge. Hudson Boring's in the building, but he pitched yesterday, so unlikely to go. Wortham down 0-1 in this count. Pop up. It's going to go foul. So an 0-2 hole for Charlie Wortham, but Nolan Jackson had trouble with a 1-2 count. See if he can keep it together with an 0-2 count against Charlie. Charlie, a Mississippi State commit, rising freshman there, so hasn't played Division I ball just yet. Jackson also a D1 commit. So an interesting matchup between high schoolers ready to start their time in Division I. The 0-2 pitch from Jackson. It's a breaking ball, drops low and away for ball 1. Doubledays have more than doubled up these Americans in every column that matters thus far. Jackson, the 1-2, will get in there for strike 3, just barely. Umpire hesitated, but will call the strike. Retires Wortham. Nolan Jackson has gotten both of his outs on strikeouts. Seems that he hasn't been able to find that happy medium with contact. When contact has been made in this game, it's been very hard contact and led to hits. Doubledays have 3 of them today, but already 4 runs scored as Jackson has also walked 3 batters. Vasquez, the final hitter in this order, takes strike 1. Doubledays with the chance to bat around if Vasquez could reach. And it's only inning number 1 here at Falcon Park. Pitch from Jackson, a breaking ball upstairs. 1's on the count to Vasquez. Made his Doubledays debut against these Americans. Another one of those Denison players. 213 hitter, 601 OPS, and 10 RBIs. Jackson. It's fouled off. Count now in Nolan's favor. Makes it 1-2 on the count. And Tyler Vivacqua is on deck. Bases still juiced, but 2 down now. Americans looking to get out of this mess after 4 runs allowed. The 1-2 is upstairs. 2's across the board again. This time to the Doubledays, Alex Vasquez. Nolan Jackson. Readies for the pitch with the even count on Vasquez. Already a half hour into this game. It's the first inning. Here's the pitch. Fly ball into shallow center field. Alan Ramos will make the grab on more of a pop-up. And finally, the Americans get that 3rd out. They're down 4-0. Going to have a lot of ground to make up when we come back for the top of the 2nd after the break. We'll be right back.
No, I'm kind of thirsty.
Me too. We could really use something.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
Top of the 2nd here from Falcon Park, and the 2nd inning is brought to you on the Americans Baseball Network by Bully Hill Vineyards, a great place to grab lunch and taste over 40 different wines. Go to bullyhillvineyards.com for more. Bully Hill Vineyards also a sponsor here at Falcon Park. Their billboard out in left field. So when Burchard gets ready for the 2nd inning, Doubledays have all 10 hitters up to bat in that bottom of the 1st. Now Chris Gazaldo, Shane Prey, and Nick Pass due up for the Americans, the 5, 6, 7 in their order. Just 1 American so far has gotten on base. It's Grant Moore, who singled to start off his day and extend his on-base streak to 29 games. That's spanned since the very beginning of the season. Chris Gazaldo, a product of Panola College, batting .333 for the team with a .767 OPS. Has driven in 11 this season. Long time where Gazaldo didn't have a single extra base hit, but over the last couple weeks has had a trio of doubles and a great singles hitter as well. 8 multi-hit games this season, all led to his midseason PGCBL All-Star nod. Looking to avoid being the 4th consecutive strikeout victim of Burchard. It's an outside ball 1 to start off. Gotta wonder if Burchard will be thrown off by how long that 1st inning went. Long rests between times on the mound can throw off pitchers at times, but it's another ball upstairs to Gazaldo, so seems like that could possibly be the case here. The 2-0 to Gazaldo. Low for ball 3, and after such great swing and miss stuff in that top of the first inning, Burchard going to have to get back into his rhythm after a long time in the dugout before the second. Pitch will go inside. 4-pitch walk of Chris Gazaldo on the 87-mile-an-hour pitch. Shane Prey up next. Prey batting .322, 765 OPS. DHing for the team tonight has spent a lot of time at third base. But Will Cordero giving his arm another night off. High breaking ball, 72 miles an hour, and it's ball 1 upstairs. So Burchard let a runner on to start things off here, looking to avoid the same fate against Shane Prey, who's coming off a multi-hit night in Canada. The 1-0 pitch is a ground ball. Picked up by Vasquez, a throw to first, and now throw to second first, and it's a double play on these Americans. So Gazaldo's walk no longer going to matter. This Doubledays defense showing up and showing out. Nick Past coming off a double and a home run last night, batting next. And just like that, 2 down for the Doubledays. Just like everything else here at Falcon Park, outs coming in doubles. Nick Pass and inside ball 1. Passed. Takes another ball low. Goes in the dirt. Logan Stickler on deck. He'll get up this inning if Pass can get on. Burchard. His faster pitches have been in the high 80s, others in the low 70s. Breaking ball, 72 miles an hour. Drops in there for strike 1. A nice curveball. Another curve. This one too low. So curveball been averaging right around 72. Fastball around 87 for Burchard. Passed with the count in his favor. Check swing, he went. Count is all filled up on Pass. Burchard looking to get out of this inning. The fastball there after a couple of curves. Here's the payoff pitch, and it's a ground ball. And we'll get to Sullivan at short in time for out number 3 at first base. So the Americans only with 3 batters up in the inning after the double play for the Doubledays. We'll send it to the bottom of the second after the break.
My fellow American fans, my name is Frankie Morris, your social media manager. You can join us all summer long with many promotional nights and tickets just as low as $10. You can call and get tickets at 716-215-6161 and take a crack at the action.
Back for the bottom of the second, and fans, this season you can get the latest Americans gear, hats, t-shirts, sweatshirts, baseballs, much, much more. Stop by the merchandise stand, buy concessions. Nolan Jackson back out for the second inning after A total of 45 pitches in the first. That surpasses C.J. Hurley's number against the Muck Dogs on the 5th of July, when he only went a single inning and then was relieved by Matthew Kasperwitz. Went 5 innings and was set to pitch today, but not quite ready to go. So he'll wait another day. Robert Leach expected to be the first out of the pen after Jackson. But these Doubledays have just continued to tear up the Americans all season long. I don't know what it is, but the Doubledays just seem to have the Americans' number this season. And if the Doubledays can hold on to that playoff spot, could be a threat to Niagara Falls in a playoff rematch. Just based on the fact that Auburn sees the ball well against Americans pitchers. Tyler Vivacqua kicking things off for Auburn to face Nolan Jackson. Opposite-handed matchup. Vivacqua, the switch hitter, batting from the left side to face Nolan. Tyler's 1 for 1 with a leadoff single in the bottom of the first, leading off this inning as well. Upstairs, it's ball 1 to Tyler. Americans have had just 7 batters come up to the plate in 2 innings. Doubledays already on their 11th in the bottom of the second. Ground ball foul for strike 1 down the first base line. And dribbles to the right side, foul. Counts now even on Tyler. A two-way player for these Doubledays. Playing second tonight, but can also pitch. Breaking ball in there for strike 2. 76 miles an hour. With some excellent break from Jackson. Looking to settle in after a lot of early knocks. Fly ball into center field. Moore backing up. He makes the grab for out number 1. So 1 down early here for Auburn, the second time through the order. Jackson is seeing the Doubledays a little bit better thus far. Bobby Hardy up next. Walked his first time up. Hardy came in batting .310. Finds the outside edge for strike 1 on him. Nolan Jackson has a much better command of the strike zone in this inning. 49 pitches for 29 strikes on the night. Check swing there. It'll be strike 2 early on this count. So Hardy in the 0-2 hole. Pitch from Nolan. Swing and a miss. 3-pitch strikeout, and Nolan Jackson with a much cleaner inning thus far in the second. Nolan Jackson strikes out his 3rd. Or rather, 2nd. Yes, it is his 3rd indeed. My apologies. Mark Gialucci up next. Drops low for strike 1 from Jackson. 77 miles an hour on the breaking ball. Gialucci, the Villanova commit, over his head on another breaking ball. Stays high. I mean, if it dropped, might have hit him in the head because of how inside it was. But good that Jackson avoids that fate with the count even. Liner into left center field. Grant Moore is chasing it down, makes the grab for out number 3. Auburn goes down 1-2-3 after all 10 batters went in the first inning. We'll send it to the top of the 3rd after the break.
Fans, if you've been to a game, you know that I give away pizza to a lucky fan in the middle of the 3rd inning. But what you might not know is that Sammy's is located right across the street. They've also been family owned and operated for 3 generations since 1962 and originated the half tray of pizza. But if you're hungry at the game, you can stop by the concession stand and get a slice of Sammy's for yourself.
We return for the top of the 3rd inning at Falcon Park. Lights are already on in Auburn, and they could not be brighter for these Americans. We're going to get their first win of the season against these Doubledays, and already down 4 here. Have showed fight against Auburn all season, but yet to come away with a victory. This 3rd inning on the Americans Baseball Network brought to you by Greater Niagara Federal Credit Union, by Geico of Buffalo, Sammy's Pizza, and McDonald's. At every Americans home game, if the Americans score, you score. A free McCafe Frappe for everyone in the stands with 3 Americans runs. McDonald's, a big day for them today. They came back with the snack wrap, and I had the chance to give it a go but for lunch before the road trip to Auburn. As good as ever. I was a big fan of the snack wrap over in England when I studied abroad, and it's returned today. Consider myself a member of the Snack Wrap fan club here. And Logan Stickler kicks things off for the Americans. In this top of the 3rd, it'll be the bottom 3 of the order. Stickler as well as Connor Kiefer and Tommy Mathey. Pitch from Burchard, swing and a miss. Stickler chases the outside pitch. Gonna get back in this here after the early strike. Upstairs on the 79-mile-an-hour breaking ball for ball 1. One's on the count to Logan. Had a hit against the Ironbacks last night. Just one of them, though, compared to 6 other Americans that had 2. In there on the inside edge for strike 2. Stickler down in the count. Looking to recover. Committed to York College of Pennsylvania. It is in there for strike 3. A drawn-out motion by the umpire, but Stickler strikes out looking. Connor Kiefer up next. Burchard with 4 strikeouts now. Those first 3 came in inning number 1 of action against 3 consecutive batters after the Grant Moore single. Remains the only base runner the Americans have had all day long. Moore's in the hole with Kiefer up to bat. Tommy Mathey in between them on deck. Kiefer, a line drive down the third base line for the base hit in Moore. Kiefer is headed for second, and he will stop there. Stand-up double for Connor Kiefer. And he's heating up. Had a trio of singles last night. Now the double. Second hit of the day for the Americans. Tommy Mathey up next. Mathey, a 119 hitter, 364 OPS, but serving as a second leadoff before Grant Moore. Has some speed on the base paths. 2 steals on the season. Lead at second for Kiefer as well, who has 3 steals, and it's ball 1 on the 82-mile-an-hour pitch from Burchard. Burchard checks on Kiefer. Now delivers the 1-0 to Mathey. Bounces in the dirt. Kiefer thought about third, but stays at second base on ball 2. A walk would put 2 ducks on the pond for Grant Moore, who had the first knock of the Americans' day. Kiefer, the only extra base hit for Niagara Falls thus far. Americans down 4 runs, looking to cut into that lead in this third inning against Owen Burchard. In a game that was built up as a potential pitcher's duel, Nolan Jackson struggled in the first inning, but recovered big time in the second. Strike 1 on the low edge, and Mathey was not happy about the call, but still has the count in his favor. Grant Moore looking to get up to bat. With Kiefer on second, 1 down, and Mathey up to bat. Burchard checks back on Kiefer, now delivers on the 2-1 in the dirt as well. Kiefer has thought about third base on multiple occasions, but has not taken it. I mean, I'd argue that Connor Kiefer could be on third right now if he had the decisiveness to steal. Or even take third on his hit. Probably could have gotten there. But nonetheless, he's in scoring position with Tommy Mathey on a 3-ball count. Pitch from Burchard. Low for ball 4, and Mathey will walk on just 5 pitches. Grant Moore up next. With 2 ducks on the pond, if he's walked, that'll be bases loaded. And nowhere to put Alan Ramos. But Moore, also a great contact hitter. In fact, one of the best in the PGCBL, already 1 for 1 tonight. Came in batting .426. Some pop as well, a 1095 OPS. Shows bunt on this one. Tries to beat it out for the single, and he will be retired, but runners advance. Grant Moore taking one for the team, and I like that decision because there's a chance that Grant Moore could have beaten that out given his blazing speed, and now Alan Ramos has 2 runners in scoring position anyways. Alan Ramos, 7 RBIs, looking for 2 more against Owen Burchard. Americans have already left 1 on base. It's been a recurring theme for Niagara Falls with the exception of last night's 12-5 victory over the Ironbacks. A low breaking ball for ball 1 to Allen, also a bit outside on the 72 mile an hour curve from Burchard. Ramos with runners on second and third, takes another one in the dirt. It's a big lead at second for Tommy Mathey. We need a wild pitch most likely to advance as Connor Kiefer's on third. Got a Doubleday walking through the stands right now. Max Fishbein injured and leaving soon. Ramos fouls it off for strike 1. Over the netting, and Gavin Boyle on deck makes the catch barehanded as it rolls off the netting behind home plate. Ramos has struck out once tonight, looking to avoid a second K against Burchard. The 2-1 pitch, lined into center field, drops in front of Meyer for the base hit. 1 run score, second one coming around. Tommy Mathey gets in there in time. Americans cut the lead in half. It's 4-2 Auburn. Alan Ramos indeed gets RBIs 8 and 9. And Gavin Boyle up next. Boyle 0 for 1 on the day, struck out his first time up. Had some strikeout troubles earlier in the season, but has mostly gotten it in control in the recent days. That was his 17th K of the year. Low ball one. Ramos thought about second, a major threat to steal. Not quite the numbers that Grant Moore has on the base paths, but raced Grant Moore in Canada, and there was a dead heat. Another big lead for Allen. Second base is wide open after he knocked in the runner, Mathey. 1-0, and it's right down the first base line for out number 3. Into the glove of Izzo, and the Americans score 2, but strand Ramos. Sent it to the bottom of the third after the break.
No, I'm kind of thirsty.
Me too. We could really use something.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
Bottom of the third inning, and you can see on the bottom left corner of your screen, Brendan Smith has now joined Max Fishbein in the stands. They are running the 50-50 raffle here in Auburn tonight. But Anthony DeCesare leading things off for the Doubledays will be followed up by Nick Izzo and Adam Sullivan in this bottom of the third. Nolan Jackson, we're going to stay on track after a strong second inning, way outside on ball one. 80-mile-an-hour pitch that goes way to the right of the catcher, Nick Past. Breaking ball gets in there for strike one, so Jackson recovers after the outside ball. DeCesare looking to get on for the second time today. Fouls off strike two to the left side. DeCesare with a hit his first time up. But now Jackson with the count in his favor on the DH. The 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Another strikeout for Nolan Jackson. Make that 4 for Nolan. So he's knotted up with Owen Burchard in that column. And it's Nick Izzo. Was Nolan Jackson's first strikeout victim, and he's up for a second time. Only batter retired for a long stretch in that first inning. Of the first 8 batters, Izzo was the only one who went down. And that is going to be a liner into left field for the base hit. Nick Izzo recovers after the strikeout and takes first with 1 down in the inning. Adam Sullivan up next. The lefty shortstop reached on the error and knocked in a run his first time up. Sullivan ready to face Jackson for the second time. Takes the ball low. Runner on first is Nick Izzo, who just singled into left field. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Low ball 2. Adam Sullivan looking to take advantage of this count in his favor. They make it 2 ducks on the pond for Auburn, but tips it foul behind him for the strike. 80-mile-an-hour pitch from Jackson. Sullivan looking to advance the runner Izzo. Fly ball into left field, foul territory. Boyle chasing it down near the fence, but it drops into the Doubledays bullpen. A nice effort by Gavin Boyle. He's always chasing down balls in the far corners of the field, but not going to risk banging into that wall. Two's on the count with 1 down and 1 on. Doubledays looking to double up the number of runners they have on base. Pitch from Jackson. Outside for ball 3. Count is full. Stakes are high for Nolan. Jackson with the payoff pitch. Swing and a miss. Another strikeout for Jackson. And taking second base on strike 3 is Nick Izzo. So 2 down. And next up for the Doubledays, it's Yanni DeSerbo. DeSerbo, the right fielder, with a runner in scoring position and 2 down. Jackson's first pitch is a breaking ball, finds the strike zone on the high corner. 80-mile-an-hour breaking ball from Nolan. Johnny DeSerbo fouls it off to make it 0-2. And Jackson is 1 strike away from strikeout number 6 on the day. Jackson has struck out a total of 14 on the year, counting today. So looking to set a personal best in strikeouts tonight for a single game. The 0-2 pitch. Ground ball picked up by Ramos at short. The throw to first in time for out number 3. So no strikeout there for Nolan, but he has 5 on the day and retires the Doubledays without giving up a run again in this bottom of the 3rd. We'll send it to the top of the 4th as the Americans look to continue their comeback. We'll be right back.
My fellow American fans, my name is Frankie Morris, your social media manager. You can join us all summer long with many promotional nights and tickets just as low as $10. You can call and get tickets at 716-215-6161 and take a crack at the action.
Top of the 4th inning from Falcon Park. The Doubledays lead the Americans 4-2. Those 2 runs for Niagara Falls coming in the 3rd inning, and Graydon Miller will look to continue the party for Niagara Falls. Will be followed up by Chris Gazaldo and Shane Prey. This 4th inning is brought to you by the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 237, by Johnny Ryan, and by Coca-Cola. Get all your Coke beverages at every Americans home game down at concessions. And fans, do you know Americans season tickets are just $99? Come be a part of the fun this summer at Sal Magley Stadium. Stop by the concession stands and pick up your season tickets at every Americans home game that is available to be a part of this historic season in Niagara Falls. Graydon Miller, the PGCBL midseason All-Star, to kick things off for Niagara Falls in the 4th inning. First pitch from Burchard to him is low on the breaking ball, 73 miles an hour for ball 1. Miller 0 for 1 today with a strikeout. He swung and missed against Burchard the first time around. Grounder foul. Makes it 1-1 on this count. Miller seeing Burchard for just the second time here in the 4th inning. And the count is even on the second shot. Breaking ball gets in there on the outside corner for strike 2. A beautiful 72-mile-an-hour curveball for Owen Burchard. Count now in his favor with Gazaldo on deck and Miller up to bat. 1-2 pitch. Fouled off by Miller on the pop-up. A look around the rest of the West Division. The Muck Dogs leading the Ironbacks 3-2. Pilots over the Tarp Skunks 1-0. Breaking ball outside to even up the count on Graydon. 2 teams in the West Division with a night off tonight, those being the Red Wings and Pioneers. But Newark, Batavia, and Auburn leading the West Division games early tonight. Miller with the count even. Swing and a miss again. 2 swinging strikeouts tonight for Graydon Miller. It's uncharacteristic, but Owen Burchard with some great swing and miss stuff. Burchard up to 5 strikeouts. It's been a back and forth between him and Nolan Jackson on strikeout totals tonight. Here's Chris Gazaldo. Gazaldo fouls it off on the pop-up for strike 1 down the first base side. Gazaldo walked his first time up, but retired on the double play back in the 2nd inning. The 0-1 to Chris. Breaking ball gets in there for strike 2. 81 miles an hour. And Burchard looking to strike out Chris on 3 pitches. Low for ball 1. If Burchard can win this battle and strike out Gazaldo, it'll be 2 consecutive All-Stars he's struck out. Might as well call it an All-Star game. Owen Burchard, one of Auburn's 2 All-Stars. 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss by Gazaldo, and there it is. 2 consecutive strikeouts by Burchard against fellow PGCBL midseason All-Stars. Some great pitching out on the bump by Owen Burchard. Americans have scored a couple off him, but looking to hold this lead for the Doubledays. Nolan Jackson has really settled in after a rough first inning. Inside, ball 1 gets away from the catcher and will hit Shane Prey. So Prey takes first. Just grazed him there. Gotten away from Gialuzzi on the far inside. Nick passed up next. Looking to advance Prey. Passed. Off to an 0 for 1 start to the day. After a 3-hit game in Canada, including a double and a home run. Looking to find that heat again tonight. It's a high ball 1 near his helmet. on the 79-mile-an-hour breaking ball. Quick timeout as Burchard will get a new baseball for the second pitch of the at-bat. That pitch came in very slowly. So something wrong with that baseball. High chopper picked up by Sullivan, and the throw to first is in time for out number 3. Shane Prey gets hit, but the Doubledays otherwise with nobody on the base paths. And they lead 4-2 despite the tie in the hit column so far tonight. We'll be right back. Rather, the Doubledays have 4 hits, but we'll be right back with the bottom of the 4th inning after the break.
Fans, if you've been to a game, you know that I give away pizza to a lucky fan in the middle of the 3rd inning. But what you might not know is that Sammy's is located right across the street. They've also been family owned and operated for 3 generations since 1962 and originated the half tray of pizza. But if you're hungry at the game, you can stop by the concession stand and get a slice of Sammy's for yourself.
Bottom of the 4th inning, and a reminder to follow the Americans on all social media platforms this season. You can connect with the Americans like never before with exclusive content on social media. Make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Shout out, as usual, to Frankie Morris and Leah Fraun, our social media managers for the season. And Nolan Jackson settling in after 4 runs in that first inning. Sam Meyer will be his first customer in the bottom of the 4th, followed up by Charlie Wortham and Alex Vasquez. Americans sending just 4 batters up in the top of this inning. First pitch from Jackson, swung on and missed. The chase outside by Sam Meyer on that nasty breaking ball from Jackson. The sweeper. That is over the head of the batter, Meyer, to even up the count. If Meyer hadn't ducked that, would have been plunked right on the helmet, most likely. Nolan Jackson, at his best, has been dominant. At his worst, has had some rough results. 4 hits allowed and has also walked 3 batters. But in addition to that, striking out 5 and 2 consecutive scoreless innings. A low ball 3 here. Nolan Jackson gonna need to recover here. Cannot afford to give up any more damage, especially with his pitch count at 74 in this 4th inning. Check swing, and it will be in there for strike 2 to fill up the count. A delayed call, but the count is full. Meyer still batting against Jackson. Jackson readies for the payoff pitch. Way outside and low for ball 4. Full count walk for Sam Meyer. Way to work that count, and Charlie Wortham, the extra hitter, up next 0 for 1 on the day, was retired for out number 2 in that monster inning. Charlie Wortham, the extra hitter, looking for his first hit as a Doubleday, and Meyer takes off for second. The throw from past is not in time. Connor Kiefer made the grab, but Meyer's just too fast for Past and Kiefer. Meyer retakes the Doubledays lead in stolen bases, now at 14. Him and Vivacqua, by far the two biggest speedsters on the team, two best base runners. And now Meyer has a lead towards third. This is a guy that you don't want to mess with on base. Count is even at 1s on the new batter, Wortham. Committed to Mississippi State, originally from St. Peters, Missouri. Interesting to see him out here in upstate New York to play college summer ball. One and one on the count, and it's outside to put the count in the favor of the batter, Wortham. Nolan Jackson already with a base runner with nobody out. Needs to recover here. Line drive into left center. Drops for the base hit. Moore's there to be the cutoff man, and it's runners on the corners for the Doubledays as Meyer holds up at third after the nice play by Grant Moore. Doubledays with their 5th hit, and Alex Vasquez is up next. Was retired to end the monster first inning for Auburn, but now runners on the corners with nobody out in this 4th inning. Nolan Jackson cannot afford any more damage, and appears there's going to be some early action in the Americans' bullpen in just a moment. Robert Leach getting ready to warm up with the bullpen catcher, Delanto. Line drive down the third base line for the base hit. 1 run scores, second runner coming to third, and Alex Vasquez heading all the way to second. Now the second run coming home. Doubledays back up 4. They lead 6-2 after a 2-run double by Alex Vasquez. My goodness. Nolan Jackson having a rough night out here. Jackson, 6 runs allowed. 4 of them earned as Tyler Vivacqua comes back up for the 3rd time tonight. Doubledays have simply gotten the best of Americans pitchers all year long. See if Niagara Falls has the hitting to charge back. Did score a couple runs on the Alan Ramos single in that 3rd inning. Outside ball 1 to Vivacqua. Nolan Jackson has retired just 9 batters and thrown 82 pitches. Not up to snuff with his last 2 outings. The error in the 1st inning by Kiefer certainly did not help, but slow for ball 2 here. And that was the only error all night by the Americans, so Jackson only spared on 2 of those earned runs. Vivacqua with the count in his favor and the runner on second. Alex Vasquez has a lead towards third. Low inside ball 3. Nolan Jackson's command of the zone has begun to fade once again in this 4th inning. 84 pitches for 49 strikes. That's a strike percentage of just 58 for Nolan. Vavakwa with the count well in his favor, takes a strike on the breaking ball down the pike. Nolan Jackson looking to recover after the early 3-0 count. Knew that the green light is rare on 3-0 in the PGCBL, even for a hitter like Vavakwa. He's 1 for 2 on the day. The 3-1 pitch in there on the inside corner. Nolan Jackson paints the corner to fill up the count, looking for his first out of the inning and 10th of the day, with Vasquez in scoring position. And not quite a pitcher's duel here tonight, but there's been some great moments for both pitchers. Could this be one of them for Jackson? The check on the runner at second, and the delivery, a liner hard hit into right center, drops in the gap for the base hit. Coming all the way around, it's Alex Vasquez. He scores, and Vavakwa ends up on second. Doubledays up 7-2 on their 7th knock of the day. Ruled a hit. Well, we'll see what kind of hit in just a moment. Could be a single in advance on the throw or a proper double. But now meeting on the mound with Nolan Jackson. Appears his day will be done. So new pitcher for the Americans, Robert Leach coming in. Looking to right the ship for Niagara Falls. Jackson done after 3 1/3. Or rather, 3 innings plus. Final line, 7 runs, 5 of them earned, 7 hits, 4 walks, 5 strikeouts, 21 batters faced. 3 of those hits were doubles, including the Tyler Vavakwa knock just now. Goes in as a double officially. Robert Leach taking over as the Americans look to keep this under control. The Doubledays have added 3 more runs to their lead in this 4th inning. So they've more than doubled the lead in this one. Leach on the season, a product of St. John Fisher, is 1-1 with a 6.16 ERA and 15 strikeouts. Also has 3 saves. Made a start that, to an extent, ballooned his ERA, but for the most part has been effective out of the bullpen. We'll see which version of Robert Leach we're getting, with Vavakwa on second and the Doubledays up by 5. And this team has just had the Americans' number all season long. Even when they're at their hottest. The Americans started their season undefeated. The Doubledays broke that up, sweeping a home and home. Now the Americans have won 3 in a row. The Doubledays looking to break that up as well. Auburn better hope they get the Americans if they make the playoffs, because for whatever reason, they have this team's number. They have their best. They've had it all season long. And Robert Leach will face Bobby Hardy up next. Mark Gialuzzi on deck. Anthony DeCesare in the hole. We'll likely have to retire all 3 of them to end this inning, unless Tyler Vavakwa can be retired on the base paths. On second base, so double play unlikely. Leach to face Hardy, starting his day. Swing and a miss on the outside strike. Hardy chasing 87 miles an hour on his first pitch of the night. Was a starter for St. John Fisher, has settled in as a reliever for the Americans. The 0-1 pitch, breaking ball outside, 74 miles an hour to even up the count. So Leach's fastballs averaging in the high 80s and the breaking balls in the 70s. Pretty typical of Americans pitchers, pretty typical across the PGCBL. Guys throwing in the 90s are hard to come by in this league. Foul ball for strike 2 on the 85-mile-an-hour heater from Robert. Bobby Hardy, the product of Denison, Division III school that made a deep run in the D3 playoffs, hence the late arrivals for all the Denison players on these Doubledays. Alex Vasquez, another one of them. He had the double earlier. High breaking ball, stays high up, and it's 2-2. Bobby Hardy with the count even. Looking to knock in Vivacqua for the second time today. Count is now full on the outside, ball 3. Vivacqua, last time he had a hit, came around to score. Can he do it again with Bobby Hardy up to face Leach? Here's the payoff. It's upstairs. 2 ducks on the pond for Auburn as the number 3 hitter, Mark Gialusi, comes up. Mark had an RBI double earlier in this game. He's 1 for 2. Doubledays, their first time through the order, had 4 consecutive base runners on to start off the game. And now Vivacqua and Hardy on base again in this 4th inning for Gialusi. 3rd time through the order for Auburn and already a new pitcher for the Americans. Upstairs, ball 1 to Mark on the 86-mile-an-hour heater from Leach. Gialusi, a .333 hitter at Rutgers this past season. Now transferring over to Villanova down in Philly. Gialusi fairly new to the Doubledays. Over his head. Some wild balls in this at-bat for Robert Leach. Under 70 miles an hour on that one. Gialusi going to take advantage of the hitter's count with runners on first and second. Vivacqua's the lead runner. Bobby Hardy just walked to join him. Pitch from Leach. Another high breaking ball. 3 consecutive balls for Robert. Can he recover? Walk would load the bases for the cleanup hitter to Cesare. He would have the chance to do just that and really bust this game open for Auburn with nobody out. Americans pitching has struggled mightily tonight. Can they recover in this 4th inning? Liner into left field. Boyle backing up, and it goes behind him off the wall. It'll be an easy double for Gialusi. 1 run scores, 2nd run behind him. Hardy and Vivacqua scoring for Auburn. It is 9-2 on the RBI double for Mark Gialusi. The 8th knock of the day for Auburn. This game is getting out of the Americans' reach, and it's only the 4th inning of work for their pitching staff. Nick Pass now coming to meet with Robert Leach with just a sole runner on second. Anthony DeCesare, still a chance to clean off 1 batter, that being Gialusi, who has his 2nd double of the night. A doubles machine out there for Auburn in the early going of his Doubleday career. DeCesare has 18 RBIs on the season. Can he make it 19 here? He's 1 for 2 on the day. DeCesare came around to score on his hit back in the 1st inning. Pitch from Leach drops low on the edge of the strike zone to make it 0-1. DeCesare, a Delaware commit. A lot of D1 rising freshmen on this Doubledays squad. High pop-up. Miller chasing it down in first base foul territory. Goes out of play into the picnic area here at Falcon Park. And Leach finds himself with an 0-2 count. Has to take advantage after giving up a few more runs. All but one of the runs will be charged to Jackson. So Jackson finishes his night with 6 earned runs. Robert Leach has 1 on the Gialuzzi double. To Cesare. Down 0-2. Can he recover? It's an outside ball 1. That'll help. 77 miles an hour from Leach. Leach needs this first out badly. An hour and a half into the game is just the bottom of the 4th. Fly ball into shallow right field, and it'll be Connor Kiefer backing up to make the grab for out number 1. Gialuzzi stays on second. Nick Izzo up next. He's 1 for 2 with a single and strikeout. So mixed results against Nolan Jackson. We'll see how he does against the second straight righty pitching for the Americans and Robert Leach. Leach has had a rough start to his night, but looking to recover here and keep the Americans at least somewhat in this game. They're already down 7 runs. They've hit the ball right, but pitching has been a massive problem for the Americans in this game. Line drive into right center. Matei is there for out number 2, and Gialuzzi thought about tagging up, but will not, as Matei guns it to second to keep him there. Adam Sullivan up next, 0 for 2, reached on an error. Run came in on that play. Sullivan, the shortstop for the Doubledays. The lefty is the first to face Leach in this game in an opposite-handed matchup. 2 down, Leach looking for that final out. Outside, ball 1 on the breaking ball, 70 miles an hour. Was looking for the backdoor slider there, but could not get the ball to come back into the strike zone. The 1-0, it's inside at the legs of the batter for ball 2 on Sullivan. That had some bite on it. And Sullivan has to dodge it. The 2-0 from Leach coming up. Liner foul down the third base line. A rocket, but just a little late on contact there. Fast pitch and hardly hit off the bat. Falcon Park also houses Cayuga Community College in addition to the Doubledays. 2-1 is a ground ball. Ramos slides but misses the play. Run coming in on the base hit by Sullivan. It's his first hit of the day, 10th of the day for Auburn. And the Doubledays, or rather 9th of the day, but the Doubledays lead 10-2 with the runner on first, Sullivan. Yanni DeSerbo up next to face Leach with 2 down. And Leach has now allowed 2 earned runs. Pitch fouled off for strike 1 on Johnny. Officially goes in as the single for Adam. So no error for Alan Ramos on the missed dive. 0-1 pitch is outside and taken off for second is Adam Sullivan. Throw off base. Sullivan will stay there though. Count is even at 1s. Americans pitchers have just been knocked around all night long. Leach. An upstairs ball to put the count in the favor of Yanni DeSerbo. 70-mile-an-hour breaking ball does not break back down into the strike zone for Leach. Now the 2-1 gets in there, and that looks more like the pitch he was trying to throw on ball 2. 2s across the board now to Yanni DeSerbo. The righty out of Hamilton. With a runner on second, Adam Sullivan just stole. DeSerbo looking to knock him in on the 2-2 count. Instead, a swing and a miss. Drop strike 3, but passed, and Miller will complete the strikeout. And the damage ends there, but it's 10-2 Doubledays as we head to the top of the 5th after the break. This game slipping out of the hands of the Americans. We'll see if they can make an effort at a comeback in the top of the 5th.
No, I'm kind of thirsty.
Me too. We could really use something.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
Top of the 5th here from Falcon Park, and this 5th inning is brought to you by Tropical Heating and Cooling. Call 716-870-0753 for expert service. Bottom of the order due up for the Americans, Logan Stickler, Connor Kiefer, and Tommy Mathey for the second time today. This was actually the part of the order that got it going for Niagara Falls on those first 2 runs back in the 3rd inning. Stickler, though, 0 for 1 on the day, struck out his first time up. It was a looking strike 3 for Logan, the York College of Pennsylvania commit. Owen Burchard still in the game for this 5th inning of work. And Logan Stickler ready to lead things off in this 5th inning after leading them off in the 3rd as well. Pitch from Burchard will go low and away for ball 1. Motion towards a swing for Stickler, but did not go around on the outside ball. 1-0 from Burchard. Drops on the low edge for strike 1. Count now even after the 86-mile-an-hour heater from Burchard. Burchard has struck out 6 tonight. And it's in there for strike 2 on Stickler here. Stickler, one of those strikeout victims, looking to avoid it being a second-time strikeout victim. Graydon Miller, the only one thus far to strike out twice for the Americans in this game. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss right there, and Stickler struck out looking earlier, now strikes out swinging. Burchard has retired him twice. Connor Kiefer up next. And he doubled off of Owen Burchard his first time up, so he's 1 for 1. Americans looking to do some damage and get back in this game against Auburn. Connor Kiefer is a good place to start given how hot his bat is. 4 hits in the last 2 games and an outside ball 1 to start him off on the 71-mile-an-hour pitch from Burchard. Connor Kiefer, recent graduate of Alfred State, still has NCAA eligibility due to his time in JUCO. High chopper foul. One's across the board to Connor with Mathey on deck. Faster pitch from Burchard there. Seems to be alternating for the most part between fastballs and breaking balls. Upstairs, ball 2 to Kiefer. Americans just 3 hits on the day. So I wonder if they were able to get some practice swings in the batting cages. Foul tip puts the count in the favor of the pitcher Burchard against Kiefer. Connor Kiefer, a bit of a shy swinger at times, showed it there, but also a very capable hitter when he's at his best. It's now 2-2. Pitch from Burchard with the even count is low for ball 3. Things are all filled up with 1 down. There's been some full count strikeouts tonight, as well as some full count walks. Will Kiefer be due for one of those outcomes or do something else on the payoff pitch? Here it is. Swing and a miss for strike 3 on Connor Kiefer. So after the early double, strikes out on that one. 80 miles an hour sends him packing and brings up Tommy Mathey as the Doubledays look for a 1-2-3 inning and to hold on to their huge lead. They're just 2 runs away from mercying the Americans. Mercy rule is 10 runs after 7 innings. So Americans would have the chance to strike back if the mercy comes next inning. Strike 1 to the new batter, Tommy Mathey. 2 down already. Burchard. The Bryant product with the 0-1 count. And it is now Tommy Mathey looking to get back in this. Next pitch from Burchard, rather, low in the dirt. Another ball to Mathey. Count is in Mathey's favor. Here's the next one from Burchard. It's a ground ball to the third baseman, Vasquez. Throw across the field is in time for out number 3 on Tommy Mathey. That'll send it to the bottom of the 5th after the break. Doubledays looking to really take charge of this game and expand on their lead, get into mercy territory. We'll see if they can do it when we're back.
My fellow American fans, my name is Frankie Morris, your social media manager. You can join us all summer long with many promotional nights and tickets just as low as $10. You can call and get tickets at 716-215-6161 and take a crack at the action.
back early for this bottom of the fifth inning. And fans, do you or someone you know have a birthday coming up? Why not spend it with the Americans? Packages include 10 tickets, 2 large Sammy's pizzas, 10 drinks, customized Wegmans cake, autographed Americans baseballs, and special recognition at the game starting at just $175. Sign up online at www.niagarafallsamericans.com. And today I have an extra special birthday wish to my own mom, Deborah Roberts, one of my biggest supporters here on the broadcast and in life in general. A big happy birthday to my mom, Deborah. Thank you for being there for me every step of the way and supporting my broadcast career wholeheartedly. And on this Deborah Roberts' birthday, Americans in Auburn to play the Doubledays, trailing 10-2. This Doubledays team has had the Americans' number all season long. Sam Meyer up for the third time. The foul tip appears to have gotten the umpire there. Robert Leach continuing after coming in for Nolan Jackson in the fourth inning. Jackson charged with 2 of the runs, or rather 4 of the runs in the fourth inning. Leach the other 2. Foul ball to make it 0-2 on Meyer. So it's possible Robert Leach just needed a fresh inning to settle in. We'll see if he can get the third strike right here. Leach already has 1 strikeout. Can he get another? Instead, it's an outside ball 1. Strike 3 gonna have to wait. Doubledays already up 8 runs. 10 would put them in mercy territory. Breaking ball inside and makes it an even count in this at bat. Count is even. Here's the pitch. Liner, foul. So Meyer stays alive. He was down 0-2 in this count. So Doubledays have had a way of battling out of tough counts. First against Jackson, now against Leach. And this is a Doubledays team that's been losing guys every single day, but still hanging in there. But right now, a swing and miss for strike 3 on Sam Meyer. Meyer frustrated with that one, and Charlie Wortham up next. Wortham. His first game as a Doubleday and had his first Auburn hit the last time up to bat. So batting a clean .500 right now as he's 1 for 2 on the day. Ball 1 in the dirt to him. 1-0 from Leach is in there for strike 1 on the outside edge. 1's across the board to Charlie Wortham on the fastball by Leach. Leach, like many Americans relievers, painting those edges of the zone. This time too far inside, and it's ball 2. Breaking ball. Drops lower, but stays in. A close shave there, and another high ball to make it 3-1. Leach had this at 1-1. Now the count well in Wortham's favor. Looking to get on base for the second time today. Here's the pitch. Pop up. Goes foul to fill things up. Robert Leach with another full count against these Doubledays. Can he win the battle here against Wortham? Here's the payoff pitch. Low and away for ball 4, and Wortham does a great job working this count. Brings up Alex Vasquez with a runner on. Vasquez had the RBI double to knock in Wortham last time around. That also knocked in Sam Meyer. And that's low in the dirt. Wild pitch. Taken off for second is Charlie Wortham. Was in the dirt and gets away from the catcher. Alex Vasquez looking to knock in the new runner in scoring position, Charlie Wortham. Foul ball to even up this count. One's across the board again. Leach looking to win the battle this time around. Will actually be ruled a pass ball on Nick Past. Toss-up call right there between wild pitch, pass ball. But the 1-1 will be a breaking ball low and away. Leach continuing to struggle through here. The Doubledays have the mercy-forcing run up to the plate. Would mean that the Doubledays just need couple clean innings to win this game in 7, but need to get those runs in first. And at this point for the Americans, either want to make that comeback effort or take the loss and save your arms. We'll see how the rest of this one goes with Vasquez up. Pop up. Foul territory will drop out of play. Count is again full. Robert Leach walked the last batter on a full count. And that batter, Charlie Wortham, is now on second base. Will it be the same outcome for Alex Vasquez, or can Leach get his second strikeout of the day? Or rather, third. My apologies. The pitch, breaking ball, outside and low. 2 ducks on the pond. And it's back to the top of the lineup with Tyler Vivacqua. Trouble for Robert Leach, which is 1 down in this 5th inning. Tyler Vivacqua with 1 down and 2 on. Double play available for Leach in the Americans defense, but also a chance for the Doubledays to do some damage. Low ball 1 to Vivacqua. 86-mile-an-hour fastball drops low. Leach. The 1-0 count on the leadoff of Aqua. He's 2 for 3 tonight. Can he get a third knock to knock some runs in? Leach pump faking to second base as Wortham hurries back in. Now retakes his lead. The 1-0 pitch is a high fly ball into right field. Tommy Mathay backs up, makes the grab. Tagging up for third is Wortham. Now runners on the corners for Auburn with 2 down. Bobby Hardy up next. 0 for 1 with a pair of walks. First and third times through the order for the Doubledays were near mirror images. A hit by Vivacqua, a walk by Hardy, kicked things off both times. But now after the out into right field by Vivacqua, Bobby Hardy has runners on the corners and 2 down. Vivacqua not on base. Outside ball 1 to start things off on Hardy. Hardy looking for his third walk of the day. Product of Dennison with the 1-0 count, fouled off, and Vasquez had second base but gonna have to go back as the count is evened with that foul ball. 1-1. That's Wortham on third, Vasquez on first. Outside and gets away from Past. Runners on second and third. Nick Past has struggled behind the plate tonight. Another reason the Americans are struggling to get outs. Not always on the pitchers. But the pitchers have struggled as well for Niagara Falls. All around rough night for them, and a swing and miss there as Leach gets one strike away at long last. No runs have scored yet this inning for Auburn, though. 2 in scoring position. So Leach with a chance to get out of this jam. Here's the 1-2. Outside to make it 2s across the board. A very close fastball. Called for ball 2. Big moment for Leach. Can he strand 2 runners on and get out of the jam with a loud Doubledays crowd? Outside, ball 3. Or rather, ball 4. Bases are now juiced. And next up, it is Mark Gialusi. The catcher has the bases loaded. He's had 2 doubles today. This would be a big moment for another one. Could get the Doubledays into mercy position against Robert Leach. Nothing has gone the Americans' way in this game tonight. Just 3 hits. Have allowed 10 runs through 5 innings. Just not their finest of games. After 3 wins in a row, they're struggling. And it's a foul ball to start things off. In this at-bat, Mark Gialusi on the day is 2 for 3. Both of his hits have been doubles. Can tack on 4 RBIs. He has tripled his RBI total. Don't hear that one often with the Doubledays, but 6 RBIs on the year. Looking for some more here. High breaking ball does not break back down into the strike zone. Count is even at 1s. It's now Wortham on third, Vasquez on second, and Hardy on first base after a 3rd walk. Pitch from Leach, swing and a miss. So Leach 1 strike away again. If it wasn't already out of reach for the Americans, this could be the game right here. 2 strikes on Mark Gialusi. Leach 1 strike away from escaping this jam without a run allowed. Can he do it? Not yet. 2s across the board. That's strike 3. Gonna have to wait for now. 87-mile-an-hour fastball goes outside. The Doubledays. We're gonna put this game to bed. 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. And Gialusi chases the low strike 3. The Doubledays strand the bases loaded. As we head to the top of the 6th, the Americans still with a fighting chance. We'll be right back after the break.
Fans, if you've been to a game, you know that I give away pizza to a lucky fan in the middle of the 3rd inning. But what you might not know is that Sammy's is located right across the street. They've also been family owned and operated for 3 generations since 1962 and originated the half tray of pizza. But if you're hungry at the game, you can stop by the concession stand and get a slice of Sammy's for yourself.
Send it to the top of the 6th here on the Americans Baseball Network. This is a new pitcher for Auburn. Get your word on who it is in just a moment. But this 6th inning is brought to you by Niagara County Legislator Chris Robins, Laborers Local 91, and Wegmans. And as we wait to find out who the new pitcher is here, get you an update around the PGCBL West Division. The Ironbacks lead 4-3 over the Muck Dogs. If the Americans can somehow come back here, there's a chance to take first place. Pilots still up 1-0 on the Skunks in the bottom of the 2nd. And we'll get you word on just a moment on this new Auburn pitcher. It is Griffin White. White 1-0 with a 7.20 ERA and 3 strikeouts on the year. Fairly new addition for the Doubledays. Product of Wagner College. Last appeared for Auburn on July 7th against the Tarp Skunks when he went an inning. And the Americans looking to take advantage of the fact that Burchard is out of the game. And also the fact that Grant Moore is leading off the inning. He'll be followed up by Alan Ramos and Gavin Boyle. It's a big opportunity for the Americans now that Burchard has been pulled after just 71 pitches. The Americans have thrown a total of 142 and are short on arms here in Auburn. A lot of pitchers not traveling today. Swing and a miss for Grant Moore. Strike 1 on the 85-mile-an-hour fastball from White. Grant Moore already has a hit on the day. 1 for 1 and fouls it off for strike 2. Moore has done well on defense as well, a pair of putouts. Gonna climb out of this 0-2 hole, but we've seen him do it before. Swing and a miss, a 3-pitch strikeout for Grant Moore. That is rare to see. Griffin White achieving a very difficult feat against these Americans. Alan Ramos 1 for 2. With both of the RBIs for the Americans today. Had a 2-run single, struck out his other time up. First pitch to him from White is outside for ball 1. White already has 1 strikeout, came on 3 pitches to Grant Moore. One and 0 on the count to Allen. Looking to get on for the 2nd time today and takes another one outside. Alan Ramos was initially, like Griffin White, committed to Wagner. Now looking at a couple different schools, Pace and St. Peter's. Will likely be one of the schools where he ends up. Now 3-0 count on Allen. Looking for the 4-pitch walk after the 3-pitch strikeout would be complete 180 for the Americans and for Griffin White, the Doubledays pitcher. Outside ball 4, and the strikes and balls have come in bunches for Auburn today. Number 4 walks in 4, and Gavin Boyle up next. Has 2 homers on the year. This will be a big time for number 3. It's a deep outfield here in Auburn. It's not an easy feat, but Boyle familiar with this stadium as he played here in the JUCO World Series. 8 homers this past season with SUNY Niagara. First pitch from White to him is down the pike for strike one. Not afraid to attack against Gavin Boyle. The 80 mile an hour pitch right there. Ramos has a lead on first. Looking for his first steal of the day. Pickoff attempt unsuccessful. Ramos slides in before the throw even gets there. White gonna have to face the meat of the Americans' order. Gavin Boyle and Graydon Miller, 3 home runs between the two of them in just the last week and a half. Boyle, pop up down the third base side. It's foul and out of play. 0-2 to Gavin. He's already struck out once tonight. Sun is setting here in Auburn. And that photosynthesis I mentioned earlier, slowing down outside on a beautiful day for baseball. Swing and a miss as Boyle chases the low strike 3, 81 miles an hour, sends him packing. 2 down as Graydon Miller comes up next. Graydon Miller still has Ramos on first. Americans need to knock him in if they want a chance in this game. Americans just 3 hits to the Doubledays 9. First pitch outside and low for ball 1. The Americans today not able to get in a full proper batting practice. Did hit some in the cages, but it's showing here in Auburn. Miller takes strike 1 on the outside corner. Count is even. Miller's already struck out twice. Looking to avoid a third. A huge night last night. Multi-hit game and a home run. Needs some of that right now to get the Americans back in this. A foul ball puts Griffin White 1 strike away from getting out of this inning. Will White get it right here? The 1-2 pitch coming up. He sets, now delivers. And it's a ground ball to Sullivan at short. Out at second is just in time to end the inning. So Ramos retired on the fielder's choice. That'll do it for the top of the 6th. We'll be right back as the Doubledays look to get into mercy territory. Had the bases loaded, and that got stranded. Can they score in the bottom of the 6th? We'll see when we're back.
No, I'm kind of thirsty.
Me too. We could really use something.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
Bottom of the 6th inning here. from Falcon Park. Doubledays lead 10-2. Going to get into Mercy territory. If they score 2 runs in this inning, all they need is a clean 7th to end this game. And fans, Americans game is a great way to entertain a group for the evening. We are able to offer fundraisers tailored to your group needs. Nonprofits, churches, youth sports, and more. For all group information, please visit the Americans website, www.niagarafallsamericans.com. That's niagarafallsamericans.com. So Leach still in for the Americans and facing the Cesare. De Cesare takes strike 1 to start things off. Check swing, he pulls it back in time, and the count is even. As field ump confirms that ball 1 call. 1-1 pitch is lined into center field. It's hooked, drops in front of Grant Moore for the base hit. Auburn up to double-digit numbers in the hit column now. Already had that in the run column. And the mercy-forcing run is up to the plate in Nick Izzo. Izzo, 214 hitter coming in, and today he's 1 for 3. So going to improve on that batting average, most likely. Big cut and miss. Strike 1 to start us off in this at-bat. Doubledays have turned 10 hits into 10 runs thus far. Bounces high off the umpire. It's 1-1. 83 miles an hour plunks the home plate ump. He's taking a beating tonight. Izzo. The 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball does not drop low enough. Puts the count in Izzo's favor. Two and one, and it's a high pop-up into the shallow infield. Kiefer's there. He makes the grab for out number 1. So 1 on, 1 out for the Doubledays as Adam Sullivan will be up next. Sullivan 1 for 3. Singled his last time up. Product of Lemoyne College. Few Lemoyne guys across the league. The Americans had one at the start of the season in Robert Wagren, but he left alongside many of their other catchers. And taking off for second is De Cesare. He steals on the first strike. Anthony De Cesare, when he's in the field, he's a catcher, but better speed than your average catcher. And now the lead towards third, surpassing Alan Ramos's position at short. Grounder gets through the third short gap for the base hit. And here comes Anthony De Cesare all the way home. Doubledays lead 11-2. It's their 11th hit of the night. Adam Sullivan, another hit. Takes the spot of De Cesare on first base. Mind you, De Cesare did steal, but started the at-bat on first. Johnny DeSerbo up next. And the runner on first, Sullivan, represents the mercy-forcing run. Big moment for Auburn. It's a high, ball 1. DeSerbo, 13 RBIs on the year. Liner into left field, dropping for the base hit. And Gavin Boyle cuts it off, but headed towards second anyways is Johnny DeSerbo. However, A close call at third base. Nonetheless, both runners remain safe. It's second and third for Auburn. That's their 12th hit. If Meyer can score even one of these runners, it gets Auburn into mercy position. Just one down with 2 runners in scoring position to bring up Sam Meyer. Meyer fouls that off down the first base line and out of play. 0-1 on Johnny. Or Meyer, rather. Who's 0 for 1 with 2 walks. Grounder picked up by Kiefer. The throw home is in time. Guns out Sullivan. Connor Kiefer with a nice play. It's runners on the corners. Meyer on first. And Johnny Serbo. Or rather, it's DeSerbo on third. And excuse me. Okay, it's ball 1 outside to Charlie Wortham, though, with runners on the corners. The 1-0 pitch is upstairs for ball 2. Crowd is loud here in Auburn. Charlie Wortham looking to drive in that mercy-forcing run, but swings and misses. And look at that. Robert Leach finds himself just 2 strikes away from ending this inning. Taking off for second now, Sam Meyer on strike 2. It's 2s across the board. And runners on second and third. The pitch from Leach is low and away. Count now full. 2 runners in scoring position. Robert Leach had a game-defining moment back in the 5th inning. Can he do it again in the 6th inning to give the Americans more wiggle room? Instead, it's outside for ball 4. The bases are now loaded for Alex Vasquez. And Vasquez is 1 for 2. In addition to a walk. Leach has nowhere to put him. If Vasquez walks, all Auburn has to do is retire the Americans cleanly in the 7th inning, and they win this game. Outside, ball 1 to start things off on Vasquez. Robert Leach going to have to attack the zone at some point here. Vasquez, a patient hitter, not chasing. And just look at this crowd. It's great tonight for the Doubledays. 1-1. And while the outcome of the game could be better for the Americans for sure, this is PGCBL baseball at its finest. The 1-1 pitch from Leach. Fouled off, and there he is again. 1 strike away. A familiar spot for Leach where he's had mixed results. Just walked Wortham. Meyer on second. And it's DeSerbo on third. Outside to make it 2s across the board again. 88 miles an hour. but Vasquez will not bite. It's too far out for him to think about swinging at that. 2-2 pitch. Low and in there for strike 3. A late strike call by the home plate up will end this inning and strand the bases loaded for the Doubledays again. Americans hanging by a thread to stay alive in this game. They're down by 9. We'll be right back with the top of the 7th.
My fellow American fans, my name is Frankie Morris, your social media manager. You can join us all summer long with many promotional nights and tickets just as low as $10. You can call and get tickets at 716-215-6161 and take a crack at the action.
Top of the 7th here from Falcon Park. And this 7th inning is brought to you by Elks Lodge of Niagara Falls, Bikers Against Child Abuse, the Stauka Agency, and Red Robin Gourmet Burgers and Brews. Griffin White out for a second straight inning, and this inning will face Chris Gazaldo, Shane Prey, and Nick Past. And those 3 batters have not had a hit tonight, have combined to reach base just 1 time. The only hits for the Americans in this game thus far, Connor Kiefer, Grant Moore, and Alan Ramos. Ramos with both of the Americans' RBIs on a 2-run single. Scored Kiefer, who doubled. And Mathay, who walked. Gazaldo takes the first pitch low and finds the strike zone. 79-mile-an-hour breaking ball from Griffin White for a low strike 1. Gazaldo with a walk and a strikeout tonight. It's a timeout called as Gialusi comes in to meet with the pitcher White. Interesting to see how they'll adjust here. I mean, that low strike 1 worked. Question is, would it work on Gazaldo a second time? I have my doubts just about the precision of it. As any lower, and that's not going to be a strike called. It's right on that bottom edge. Can White continue to paint the edges, or will he change up his strategy? Instead, brings the heat and forces Gazaldo to swing and miss. 0-2 to Chris. We're going to avoid a second strikeout. He would join 2 other Americans in the 2-strikeout club for the night if he cannot avoid strike 3 here. Looking to climb out of this 0-2 hole. Can he do it? No, he can't. Swing and a miss. Chases the low strike 3. And that pitch was working the entire at-bat for Griffin White. It's 1 down. Shane Prey up next, 0 for 1. Prey was hit by the pitch earlier tonight as well. White sets and delivers on the first pitch to Prey. Finds the outside corner for strike 1. Griffin White has found ways to get strikes, oftentimes on the outside edges of the strike zone. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Outside to make it ones across the board. 77-mile-an-hour pitch from White. Shane Prey. We're going to work this even count. Swing and a miss. A big cut by Prey. He thought he had that. But the breaking ball ends up outside. He chased anyways. It's 1-2 on Shane Prey. Griffin White filling the shoes of Owen Burchard. Outside to even up the count again on Prey. Prey learning from his mistake of chasing that last outside pitch. Still time to get back in this at-bat with one down and nobody on. Nick passed on deck. The catcher had his first home run of the season in Niagara, Canada last night. Outside to fill things up. The Americans, even when they've had nights like this, still managing to stay well in that playoff picture. They have taken advantage of their heavy Ironbacks and Red Wings schedule, winning all but one of those games thus far. They'll get the Red Wings again tomorrow in Geneva. First pitch at 6:30 in that one. We'll have all the coverage here on the Americans Baseball Network. Grounder hit softly. Sullivan picks it up, sends it to first, and it's in time. The amazing stretch by Izzo for out number 2. Little Elastigirl moment for Nick Izzo. Nick passed up next. 1 homer, 7 RBIs on the year. 0 for 2 tonight. Now 2.5 hours into the game in the 7th inning. Pass drives that foul. A rocket near the Auburn clubhouse, but just a little early on the contact. Nick Pass has shown he has some major power. Can he utilize it here with 2 down and nobody on? The pitch. Swung on and missed on the outside. That outside strike continuing to fool Americans hitters. And Griffin White finds himself 1 strike away from ending this inning in 1-2-3 fashion. Doubledays with the chance to walk it off in the bottom of the 7th. Would be by mercy rule. Pop up. Foul territory. No one's going to get there. Pass stays alive. Still 0-2. Homer Simpson noises here at Falcon Park. Shout out to our DJ here at the stadium, self-proclaimed Mr. Doubleday. Has been with Auburn since his days when they were a minor league baseball team. Pitches outside, gets away from Gialusi. Strike 3 will have to wait for the time being. 81 miles an hour on the wild ball 1. Passed. Looking to get on for the first time today. It's only the 3rd time through the Americans' order in this 7th inning. Bats have struggled all night long. It's in there for strike 3 on the check swing. Nick Pass goes down packing. That'll end the top of the 7th. The Doubledays 1 run away from a walk-off win. Can they get it? We'll see when we're back after the break.
Fans, if you've been to a game, you know that I give away pizza to a lucky fan in the middle of the 3rd inning. But what you might not know is that Sammy's is located right across the street. They've also been family owned and operated for 3 generations since 1962 and originated the half tray of pizza. But if you're hungry at the game, you can stop by the concession stand and get a slice of Sammy's for yourself.
Called to the bullpen for the Americans in this bottom of the 7th inning. It's Carmen Panaro. Panaro, a two-way player for the team, has an ERA of 0 and 2 saves. This would not be a time to give up that first run. But interesting situation here for the Americans. Panaro, when he pitches, often serving as a closer. This time, a desperation effort to shut down these Doubledays and give the Americans another chance to come up to bat. It's a strategy that I like out of manager Will Cordero. Panaro, one of just 2 Americans pitchers who has not allowed a run this season, the other being Tommy Mathay, who only pitched 1 time. The Doubledays in their 4th time through the order. Rather, on their 5th now. Tyler Vivacqua up for the 5th time. He's 2 for 3. Foul ball for strike 1. Panaro, 88 miles an hour. Pitches occasionally for Division I Niagara University. More of a hitter there, but has the stuff to pitch at the Division I level. Another fastball, or rather a slower pitch. Makes it 1-1. Panaro has the count even here. The pitch, ground ball, and Gazaldo ranging to get it. Throw to first is wild. Goes over the head of Graydon Miller, and reaching on the error is Tyler Vivacqua. Second error of the day for the Americans. And still nobody out. Americans have struggled with stability at the third base position. Some great plays have been made between Shane Prey, Alan Ramos, and Chris Gazaldo, but every one of them with some errors as well. Brady Bowles was arguably the best third baseman for the team, and he left midway through the season. Was a planned departure to split half and half between here and another summer ball team. Grounder right to Graydon Miller. Out at second and not in time to get the throw back to first. Vivacqua slides right into Ramos, but it's out number 1 as Bobby Hardy takes Vivacqua's spot on first base. Both of them reaching without a hit. Doubledays have 12 hits for 11 runs. We'd like to thank everyone for tuning in tonight. This chat is very lively. Love to see it here on the Americans Baseball Network. It's a low ball 1 to Mark Gialuzzi. Panaro finds the strike zone there on the low edge. 1's across the board for Carm. We'll see if Gialluzzi can take advantage in the at-bat. Foul ball for strike 2. Panaro looking for his second out of the inning. Here's the pitch outside for ball 2. So this count has been even most of the way here. Back and forth battle between Carmen Panaro and the batter Gialluzzi. One of the newest Doubledays and one of the best already. Has a runner on first and Bobby Hardy. Liner down the third base line goes foul, just barely. That could have been an extra base knock for Gialluzzi. He already has 2 doubles tonight. The Doubledays itching to end this one. Panaro. The pitch to Gialluzzi is up and away. Count now full. Panaro looking for the strikeout on the payoff. Instead, it's it. No, it is in there for strike 3. Umpire with a late strike call, but sends down Mark Gialluzzi. Anthony DeCesare up next. And Carmen Panaro with a chance to keep this game alive for the Americans. May not get the save on the stat sheet, but he's saving the game in another way if he prevents Auburn from walking it off here. Outside, ball 1 to the batter, DeCesare. He's 2 for 4 on the night. Has struck out once. Came around to score on both his hits. Low ball 2. Little inside as well. Panaro. The left-handed pitcher. It's fouled off for strike 1. Panaro also bats lefty, so lefty for pretty much everything. Foul ball into the first base stands. That puts 2s across the board for Carmen Panaro. Can he get out of the inning right here with the game-winning run on first base? It's low for ball 3 first. Walk here would put 2 ducks on the pond for Nick Izzo. DeCesare grounds it to Ramos at short. On the payoff pitch, it is sent to first base in time for out number 3. Carmen Panaro, not a save on the stat sheet, but finds another way to save the game. The Americans within 9 as we send it to the 8th inning after the break.
No, I'm kind of thirsty.
Me too. We could really use something.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
Top of the 8th here at Falcon Park. The Doubledays lead 11-2. Americans with another shot as Carmen Panaro saves the game. This top of the 8th inning is brought to you by Seneca Niagara Resort and Casino, the official casino of the Americans. More winning, more comfort, more entertainment. Go to SenecaNiagaraCasino.com for more. Logan Stickler will kick things off in this 8th. It's the bottom of the Americans' order here. Connor Kiefer and Tommy Mathay. 2 up to follow up Stickler. Griffin White still going for a 3rd inning of work. First pitch will go inside. Ball 1 on Stickler. Stickler, looking for his first hit of the night, has struck out twice. Upstairs, ball 2. 87 miles an hour, but does not find the strike zone. Connor Kiefer on deck, Mathay in the hole. Number 9 and 10 in the order, but number 1 and 2 on their jerseys. The pitch from White is inside. 3 balls in a row to Stickler. Can he reach base for the first time today? The incoming freshman at York College of Pennsylvania, ready for the 3-0 pitch. Takes it low for ball 4. It's a 4-pitch walk. So Americans have a base runner. And the Doubledays, while they've only allowed 3 hits to the Americans, they've also walked 3 batters and hit 1. So 7 total on base today for the Americans as Connor Kiefer comes up next. He's one of the 3 Americans with a hit. Had a double, but also a strikeout. So he's 1 for 2 on the day. Came around to score on the Alan Ramos 2-run single. All the way back in the 3rd inning. Americans looking to keep this game alive and strike in the top of the 8th. It's a high ball 1. 80 miles an hour on the pitch from White. Kiefer looking for his 2nd knock of the day and to advance Stickler. The 1-0 is line into left field. Drops in front of Hardy for the base hit. 2 ducks on the pond. The Americans at long last have their 4th hit of the day. Griffin White looking tired here in this top of the 8th inning. Tommy Mathay. We're going to drive in some runs. Stickler in scoring position, and it's ball 1 up and away. The Americans had just 3 hits through 7 innings. Now looking to start a rally in this 8th. Had a 5-run rally in the 9th inning against the Doubledays at home back in June, but still lost that one 11-5. As opposed to that 11-run deficit. Just a 9-run deficit to overcome here. Tommy Mathay looking for his first knock of the day. He has been on base with the walk. Came around to score the same time that Kiefer did. That Ramos 2-run knock. Grant Moore on deck. The Americans want to get him up. And want to put a good situation in front of him. It's strike 1 on the low pitch to to Mathey. 81 miles an hour from Griffin White. Would be amazing for the Americans if they can load the bases for Grant Moore. He's had 4 triples on the year. Would be a good time for it. Swing and a miss makes it 1-2 on Mathey. Griffin White back on track after the meeting on the mound. We'll see if he can get the strikeout here for out number 1. Stickler, the lead runner on second, Kiefer behind him on first. Ready to go, whether it's from a knock from Mathey or one from Grant Moore after this. Both runners have a lead. The pitch, swing and a miss. Down goes Tommy Mathey, but Grant Moore 2 on and 1 out for his at-bat. Grant Moore has those same base runners on base, Stickler and Kiefer. 1 for 2 on the day, one of just 4 Americans. Or rather just 3 Americans with a hit. Kiefer has 2 of them to make it 5 in the last 2 games. Foul tip by Moore for strike 1. Connor Kiefer a single and a double tonight. Has been the hottest hitter on the team over the last couple of days. He's on first base. Grant Moore looking to advance him and knock in the runner in scoring position, Stickler. 0-1 to him right now, though he struck out on 3 pitches last time up to bat. Inside ball 1 to make it once across the board. The only thing not coming in as a 1 is the number of runners on base. Americans have 2 of those right now. Doubledays up 11-2, but the Americans attempting a rally here in the 8th inning. Pitch from White. In there on the breaking ball. 1-2 to Grant Moore. Griffin White has already struck out Grant once. Can he do it again, or will Grant Moore get his second knock of the day with the 1-2 count? Also a very patient hitter. Chance to climb out of this count. Here's the pitch from White. Inside at the feet of Grant Moore to even things up again. Moore. If he can get one through the opposite field. The gap is wide between short and third right now. A slight shift on Grant Moore. Mostly notable in the form of Adam Sullivan. Now he's shifting back a little bit. Pitch from White is going to get in there on the corner. Grant Moore sent down packing by Griffin White for the 2nd time today. Very hard to do, especially against Grant Moore. Alan Ramos has the only 2 RBIs of the day. Can he keep that trend going with a couple more here? As Stickler and Kiefer on the base paths they've been on for a good bit now. Mathey and Moore both retired on back-to-back strikeouts by Griffin White. White has tallied 6 strikeouts on the night. The Doubledays have a total of 14. Ramos takes one low and away for ball 1. Alan Ramos, one of the hottest hitters on the Americans, and was batted 2nd accordingly tonight. Gavin Boyle, another hot hitter, is on deck. Tonight he's 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts, though. The 1-0 pitch is lined right into the glove of Nick Izzo. That ends the inning. The Americans straying 2 base runners. The Doubledays can walk this off with just a single run in the bottom of the 8th. Will they get it? We'll see when we're back after the break.
Fans, if you've been to a game, you know that I give away pizza to a lucky fan in the middle of the 3rd inning. But what you might not know is that Sammy's is located right across the street. They've also been family owned and operated for 3 generations since 1962 and originated the half tray of pizza. But if you're hungry at the game, you can stop by the concession stand and get a slice of Sammy's for yourself.
Back for the bottom of the 8th, Sweet Caroline playing here at Falcon Park. Always appreciate that as a Red Sox fan. And in this bottom of the 8th inning, we want to thank everyone who tuned into the broadcast today. And a reminder that the Americans are a great way to bring your group together, whether it's a school, church, business, or youth sports organization. The Americans are able to offer great options and even picnics for your organization or business. Reserve your group online at www.niagarafallsamericans.com. The Americans would also love to partner with your business. The Americans have lots of options to make your presence known in the community. Please visit their website at www.niagarafallsamericans.com for that as well. Carmen Panaro still pitching in this 8th inning. He'll face Nick Izzo, the man who ended the top of the inning, to start things off. A look around the PGCBL as this game winds down. The Muck Dogs walked off the Ironbacks 5-4 in the bottom of the 9th. Strike 1 on Nick Izzo on the outside part of the plate. Tarp Skunks and Pilots have been suspended at 1-0 in the bottom of the 2nd. Makes it 1-1, the outside pitch. Nick Izzo looking to get on base again tonight. He's gone 1 for 4 with a strikeout. Panaro, the 3rd pitcher today for the Americans. They have managed to save some arms despite a rough day out on the mound. 2 balls, 2 strikes after the foul by Nick Izzo. He'll be followed up by Adam Sullivan and Johnny DeSerbo in this inning. The Doubledays looking to walk this off right here. 1 run will do it. Panaro, the pitch. Swing and a miss. Down goes Nick Izzo. It's 1 down for Auburn. Next up, it's Adam Sullivan. Sullivan 2 for his last 2. But a grand total of 2 for 4 on the night. Also reached on an error earlier. Panaro sends a heater for strike 1. 82-mile-an-hour breaking ball. Breaks back inside and forces the swing and miss. Slower pitch right there for ball 1. Goes outside. Panaro has the count even and a big cut and miss. Can Carm get his 2nd consecutive strikeout? He's totaled 2 so far on the night. Americans have struck out 11, only 3 less than Auburn. But it's up the middle for the base hit, and those knocks are why the Doubledays are doing so well tonight. It's their 13th hit of the game, and they have the game-winning run on first base. Once again in this bottom of the 8th. Gianni DeSerbo up next to face Carm Panaro. Doubledays with their 13th hit. Americans just 4 of them. Panaro, first pitch, low edge for strike 1. Outside, ball 1. It's 1s across the board. Once across the board, and a big cut and miss on the outside pitch that DeSerbo chases. 1 on, 1 out for the Doubledays. Americans have the double play available That would be huge for them with that game winner on first. Carmen Panaro continuing to keep this game alive when the offense has struggled. It's a foul ball to keep DeSerbo alive. Yanni DeSerbo, 13 RBIs. Can he get another here? Outside to even things up. So even if DeSerbo just gets on base, that'll bring up Sam Meyer. The 2-2 pitch. High pop-up into the shallow outfield. Kiefer backing up, but it'll be Tommy Mathay there, and he can't get there. Runners on first and second. A weirdly placed one for DeSerbo on the 5th time up. They will call that another error for the Americans, their 3rd of the day. My goodness, errors are killing the Americans tonight. I mean, among other things, the bat's not really going. It just hasn't been their night against these Doubledays who have had their number all season long. They'll have the chance to get back on track when they face the Red Wings tomorrow. First pitch in that game will be at 6:30. We'll have all the coverage here on the Americans Baseball Network. Pop-up foul. One's across the board again for Panaro. Can he take advantage here? 2 ducks on the pond, so the game winner's in scoring position. High stakes for Carmen. Sam Meyer takes it low for strike 2. Finds the low edge. Doubledays just need to score Adam Sullivan, and this game will end. Swing and a miss right here, though. It's 2 down and 2 on for Auburn. Charlie Wortham, the last hope to walk it off. Auburn's still likely to win anyways, as long as they have a clean top of the 9th. But they can end it an inning early if Charlie Wortham can knock in the runner here. It's low, but finds the strike zone. Strike gets away from Nick Past, but runners hold. Nick Past has caught the large majority of games over the last week and a half since Dalton Harper left. Upstairs, ball 1 to even the count. .87 miles an hour from Panaro. Next pitch is a liner down the first base line. Foul goes into the Americans' bullpen out of play. Carmen Panaro 1 strike away from giving the Americans one more chance. It's like they've gotten that chance time and time again, but if they can finally capitalize, that would be huge. 2s across the board now. Carmen Panaro looking to end this inning and allow Gavin Boyle, Graydon Miller, and Chris Gazaldo to bat one more time for these Americans. What better trio of hitters could be brought up? It's a swing and a miss for strike 3. That ends the 8th inning. There will be 9 played tonight. The Americans will send up Boyle, send up Miller, and send up Gazaldo. 3 of the best hitters on the team outside of Grant Moore. We'll send it to break. Be right back for the top of the 9th.
No, I'm kind of thirsty.
Me too. We could really use something.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
back for the top of the 9th inning as the Americans, with their final shot to come back. It'll be an uphill battle down 9 runs, but they'll have some of their best hitters up to bat. Gavin Boyle, Graydon Miller, and Chris Gazaldo. This 9th inning is brought to you by Casella, Salino Plumbing, Blaze Brockway Contracting, and Ripe Beverages, provider of all alcoholic beverages at the barbershop every American's home game. And as this 9th inning begins, Griffin White going to close out the game for the Doubledays. Would be a long save for him after he came in all the way back in the 6th inning. Gavin Boyle, his first customer this inning. Boyle 0 for 3 tonight with 2 strikeouts, but also 2 home runs in the last 9 days. First home run came on the first day of July. Boyle looking to keep the Americans alive here against Griffin White. First pitch is upstairs for ball 1. Breaking ball stays high, 78 miles an hour to Gavin. Boyle just looking to make contact here after a couple of strikeouts tonight. Ideally get on base and start a rally. Low and inside, strike 1. White finds the corner to even things up with Gavin. Gavin Boyle, the second-year American, also played for the Niagara Power in 2023. So his 3rd season in the PGCBL with the Niagara squad. The 1-1 pitch is low for ball 2. It was a close call, but count will go in the favor of the batter Boyle. Gavin. See if he swings on the 2-1 pitch from White. Big swing there, and he misses for strike 2. Can't afford those misses right now, but with the 2-strike count, even more important to wait for the right pitch. Can the Doubledays end this game right here in the top of the 9th? Here's the pitch. Line shot down the first base line. It's ruled foul. Gavin Boyle could have had extra bases there, but ends up dropping to the right side of that first base line. Boyle steps back in. Count is even on him. Graydon Miller on deck. Had his first home run of the season last night. It's night and day compared to last night for these Americans. 17 hits last night and just 4 tonight. That gets in there on the low inside corner for strike 3. Gavin Boyle, the first batter retired in this 9th inning. It's strikeout number 7 for Griffin White. 4 of them have come swinging. Graydon Miller up next. Boyle was frustrated with the call, but Miller has also struck out twice tonight. Strike 1 to him here. To combine to strike out Grant Moore, Gavin Boyle, and Graydon Miller, as well as Chris Gazaldo, we can loop him into this, a total of 9 times. It's almost unheard of. Boyle, a big power bat, and then the grounder by Miller to short. We'll retire him at first for out number 2, but yeah, Boyle, a big power bat, and the other 3 great contact hitters and all stars. Chris Gazaldo, the final customer, due up in this inning. And Griffin White looking to end it right here. Gazaldo struck out twice tonight. Also walked once, looking to finally make some contact in fair territory. White, the first pitch is a ground ball. Picked up by Vivacqua at second. A little late on the throw, but gets there in time. The Doubledays win 11-2, and the Americans, after a 12-run, 17-hit outburst, have pretty much the opposite result tonight. Just 4 hits and 2 runs. They will look to get back on track in Geneva tomorrow. First pitch at 6:30. It's been up and down all season long for the Americans, but still 20-12 on the season, so in good position to make the playoffs. Got to hold on to that playoff spot in a tight 6-team race. Well, we'll see what happens tomorrow. To our listeners and viewers, thank you to everyone for tuning in to this broadcast, and to the Auburn Doubledays, thank you for the great hospitality up here in the press box. One of the best places to broadcast in the PGCBL. I stand by it. And unfortunate that unless these teams face off in the playoffs, it will be my last time here in Auburn this season. But I mean, best off for the Americans, but as the Doubledays own them the entire season. They sweep the regular season series 3-0. The Americans will hope for better results in Geneva tomorrow against a team owned also by Bob Omen like these Doubledays. But for now, thank you so much for tuning in to the broadcast. I've been your play-by-play broadcaster, Andrew Roberts. We will see you tomorrow. Final score from Falcon Park: Doubledays 11, Americans 2.